you confirm me
Yes.
whether my screen
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Some other issue. I don't know why.
तो डिवाइस का नाम क्या है?
So this particular session, I'm going to introduce all of you to the concept of Lean and Six Sigma. And of course, I will also touch on a few of the concepts about the quality and then introduce you to the world of Lean and Six Sigma. And this is going to be 90 minutes. That means it will go up to 1 o'clock. So my profile has been already introduced with all of you. And again, for the information of all of you, I am a professional trainer with 18 plus years of balanced experience in teaching, training, as well in consulting. And specifically, I have about 6,600 plus hours of training experience, trained to over 6,600 plus hours of training, and trained over 3,000 plus students on all levels of Six Sigma body of knowledge. And I'm also a certified Six Sigma Master Black Belt and an author of about 10 plus books and book chapters. I'm also heading the Campus to Corporate Program Division of MSME Technology Development Center, Chennai. And I'm also the CEO and Principal Consultant at Vision Excellence, where we have about 20 plus consultants working on several projects. All right. So before we get into the session, a theory without practice is useless. But at the same time, practice without learning is dangerous, right? So I am going to take all of you through the fundamentals and basics behind quality, Lean, Six Sigma, and statistics to a certain extent. So this will go a long way in equipping all of you confidently implement all that you are learning in this particular, you are learning in this program, right? And also, as we have already suggested, just a second, yeah. As already mentioned, it is better to stay on video so that I also get a good feel of talking to all of you. And throughout the session, we are going to follow this particular system: watch, learn, and respond. There will be a lot of interaction opportunities I will create in between the session. Maybe some questions, maybe asking some, some response through the chat. Please do respond to all those things so that the learning can really be better, right? Hope all of you are really excited to know about Lean and Six Sigma, and let's proceed and kickstart the learning journey in the field of Lean and Six Sigma. And this is very clear. I'm sure all of you are expecting to grab the top level managerial roles and climb up the corporate ladder, and you all wanted to be highly successful, Six Sigma experts wanted by all companies, including the company you are currently working, right? So these are the objectives, right, for this particular session. So introduction to quality, Lean and Six Sigma, and concept of cost of quality. Anything we do, there is a cost associated. So for any desired level of quality, there is a cost associated. You can be world class or you can be, at your current level. There is a cost associated. So what is that cost of quality? And then in the process, you will also understand what is process capability and why are Lean and Six Sigma always integrated during implementation, right? Long back, they were implemented separately, but now most of the companies, they use it in an integrated approach. And then Lean Six Sigma follows a specific methodology called DMAC to solve any quality problem in any company, manufacturing any product or offering any service, right? I will take you through that methodology. And then towards the end of the session, I will also show you a clear roadmap for organizational excellence, and you will be able to judge the position of your organization on that roadmap, and then you will understand, the distance needs to be traveled to really become world class, right? So the first point is, let us understand the meaning of the term operational excellence. Hope all of you, have gone through what I call the different levels of education in school as well as college. We might have seen our teacher saying a student excellent. So when do your teacher will say a student performance as excellent? Either the student could have scored 100 out of 100, which is really a difficult job. Another thing is, if the student has scored at least secured the number 1 rank, I mean he has performed better than anyone else in the class, the teacher will definitely say the performance is excellent. Same approach, if you apply to your organization, that is called operational excellence. If your organization really become number 1 in the market, then definitely your performances, your operations are at the level called excellence. We call it operational excellence. So what is operational excellence? You are operating your company in such a way that you are able to secure the number 1 position in your targeted market, or otherwise. That is one way of defining operational excellence. Otherwise, your organization should be able to perform at least 1% better than your competitors. At least 1% better than your competitors in terms of quality, in terms of productivity, as well as in terms of cost. If you can make sure you are at least better than your competitor by a few percentage, obviously all the customers would love to buy your product and then your services, because the quality levels are better and because your productivity is high, which means you are able to respond faster to all the customers requirements, and the cost of your products and services are comparatively competitive, and so obviously your all the customers will come towards you, which means your market share will continue to grow. And becoming operationally excellent is not a simple job. It is really a monumental task. Everyone in the organization should be involved, and in order to drive the operational excellence philosophy in any organization, committed people are also required, right? There has to be a set of people who are really committed to drive the entire company and drive others in the expected direction. You see, you can in my diagram you can see there are 4 pillars of operational excellence. Number 1, strategy deployment. You can see here. Number 1 is strategy deployment. And this is why we have all these things: the vision, mission, purpose, and then the strategy mapping, and then catchball technique, and then Hoshin planning. So all the some of the tools listed here are the subject for the master black belt, right? But however, what is a strategy and what is strategy deployment? We should have some, at least a broader idea. Whatever the organization wanted to achieve, that should be deployed at all levels of the organization, right? It is something like, we just don't discuss strategic goals only in the boardroom. We must see to that it is implemented at all level, particularly at the down level, right? So strategy deployment is one pillar. Another thing is performance management. When you really find out a way to implement all the plans at all levels of the organization, and how are we actually performing, we need certain metrics, we need certain KPIs to understand how our organization is performing at all levels, right? And then there is something called process excellence, like how good our processes are. Are there any gaps in the way our processes are performing in terms of its capability or in terms of its efficiency? We really have to find a way. And here comes the risk management, the method of the Six Sigma methodology, the lean methodology, or any other methodology. You call it either 8D or the normal Kaizen approach, or whatever it is. Ultimately, what are we looking at is, we are looking at enhancing our process capability, right? In terms of effectiveness as well as in terms of its efficiency. And doing all these things is, as I already mentioned, is not an easy job. Any organization actually requires a high performing work team, right? People who are really capable of contributing to the organization's growth are required. And that's where the training and all those things also comes into picture, so that the effort put in by every employee at all level actually helps the organization progress towards its goal. So operational excellence is a systematic approach for industrial organization to attain best-in-class performance in terms of productivity, quality, and delivery of products and services. All right. So when it comes to business model, fundamentally there are basic model, which we call it the traditional business model or the classic business model. And according to the traditional business model, quality is considered to be a function of highly skilled resource. If you are talking about high class quality, then you must have what you call the highly skilled manpower. Another thing, you must have modern technology. Another thing, modern machinery. Yes, of course, it is required, whatever business model you are following. But here, the belief is they simply think that quality is purely the function of these things and nothing else. And in short, the people in such company, they strongly believe that quality is expensive. Quality is expensive, and they don't mind charging a customer at a higher side, right? Because the customer is expecting highest quality, and so he should be charged a higher price, and that's the way they try to actually maximize their profit, right? That means their idea is, if they want to maximize the profit, they increase the price. So this is what is fundamentally called the classic business model or the traditional business model. Coming on to the other side, the Lean Six Sigma model or the operational excellence model. As we already said, yes, quality is a function of highly skilled resource. Quality is a function of modern technology. Quality is a function of modern machinery. But how do we measure, right? At what level of quality we are actually functioning, right? Better quality here means less defects, and so less rework. There are no non-conformance. If there are no non-conformance, you don't have to do any corrective action. You don't have to do any rework. And then less buffer. Less buffer means the storage, whether it is raw material or it is finished good or it is semi-finished, be it whatever, or be it information or be it manpower. We need to have only what is exactly required. We must focus on reducing the inventory. And the third one, lower cycle time. If you see any organization where the defects are high, where the storage is high, where the cycle time required to complete a process or cycle time required to complete any process, any order, or manufacturing of a product or offering a service, where if the cycle time is higher, this is a clear indication that their quality levels are not up to the mark. And in short, once you realize that lesser defects, lesser buffer and lower cycle time means the quality in the organization is at the higher level, you will be able to digest this statement: quality is inexpensive. Quality is inexpensive, right? And here the idea is to maximize the profit. The organization will look at decreasing the defects. You decrease the defect because defect is a non-conformance. Defect is a process failure. Defects lead to customer dissatisfaction. So you minimize the defects, your profit will get maximized, right? So this is the ideology, what we call it as Lean Six Sigma model or operational excellence model. So any questions here? Anybody would like to ask me here? I think it is easy to follow, right? Okay.
So,
yeah, yes.
So in short, when I see that, a slide of difference between that classical and Lean Sigma, correct me. If I follow the 3 L's, the 4th L will always fall in place, means less defect, less buffer and low cycle time leads to quality which is less expensive.
Exactly. Very good. You're very right. See, if a company is able to process any order by maintaining a lesser level of defects, lesser level of buffer, and that means lesser level of buffer means just in time. You process the order, or you do an activity only when it is required. So you are trying to minimize the storage, and similarly, cycle time is low means the lead time is also low. When that means things are happening fast enough, at the same time effective enough, right? And when there is a speed, obviously there will be a quality. So this is the belief. But here the belief is, quality is exactly opposite to speed. Quality is inversely proportional speed. I need a high quality product. So then customer has to wait. Because the demand is high quality, then he has to wait. But now the new belief is quality is directly proportional to speed. A high quality product obviously comes at a higher speed. If that is not happening in our company, that means our quality levels are not up to the mark, right? That's the thing.
In
Good
short,
observation.
can I put it this way, like identifying and plugging the leakage would improve the profitability in a different
Definitely. Yeah, identifying and stopping the leakage will definitely, will increase your profit, because whatever defects you are actually preventing, that will get added up directly to your profit. Yeah.
That straight away adds to my bottom line.
Exactly, you're right. Yeah. So we move on.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir, what is lean? Sir, is lean is different from Six Sigma?
Yes,
or-
I'll come to that.
Sir,
I'll come to that.
Sir,
It
I
is
will
different
come,
from Six Sigma.
Okay.
Sir, can
Yes,
I come,
sir. Yes, you want to add something here?
Yeah. I want to ask you, what is the philosophy you learned in the previous questions? What is the philosophy? Do it right the first time. Okay. Clear? And then somebody was telling that it is saving me time and all. You know how much it is saving? That also I told in the morning. 20% of your revenue you are saving from spending on the wrongs.
Recycle.
Right? So that also is there. And coming to Kirti Tripathi, lean means elimination.
Okay.
Sigma means reduction. That's all. Right? We will see more about it later. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So coming back. So we're going to understand cost of quality. See, we do several activity. We hire people, we store material, we keep inventory. There are many things we do because we wanted to make sure we really produce products, we really offer services meeting customer requirements. So there is a cost associated, right? By all means, all our activity help us to achieve the desired level of quality in the product. So all the activity which you have been doing to achieve the desired level of quality, is called, cost of quality. It's called the cost of quality. So cost of quality can be broadly categorized into two types. One is cost of good quality. Another thing is cost of poor quality. Then what is cost of good quality? When you actually do some plan and then execute the plan, you end up producing a product, and then, sometimes what happens, there will be some non-conformance in the product, right? So the cost can be broadly divided into two: cost of conformance and cost of non-conformance. Certain activities which you do leads to the conformance. Customer is really happy with the output you produced, but sometimes what happens, in spite of your best efforts, there will be some non-conformance, and that will lead to customer dissatisfaction. So there are two types of activity, knowingly, unknowingly, we all do in our organization. One is our activity helps in conforming to the requirement. Sometimes some of our activity leads to non-conformance. So the cost of conformance is called cost of good quality, and cost of non-conformance is called cost of poor quality. And within the cost of good quality or cost of conformance, there are two types of activity broadly any organization would do. One is prevention, another one is appraisal. One is prevention, another one is appraisal. For example, I wanted to produce a product. Then first what I do is I'll do a survey. What kind of requirement customer has about a particular product which I am going to manufacture. So this is a kind of prevention activity I'm doing. I'm doing a survey right before manufacturing a product, right? Why? Because I wanted to correctly capture the customer requirement. So certain activities are preventive in nature, certain activities are corrective in nature, and at the same time, when I do certain preventive activities, I will also do some kind of appraisal activity. For example, I have made a production plan. I have created SOPs, and so what happened? The product is getting manufactured, or the services are getting offered. Now I'll see to that there is some inspection happens before I send the product to the customer. So what is that I'm doing? I'm doing some form of appraisal. Why am I doing appraisal? because I wanted to be doubly sure that my output, only good quality output reach the customer, right? So certain activities are called appraisal. Calibrating your equipment is also a form of appraisal, right? And doing inspection is also a form of appraisal, and doing audit is also a form of appraisal. So all the prevention activities and appraisal activities which your company is doing comes under the category of cost of good quality. And now we'll see the graph of cost of good quality. So let me show you and see here. See, the product quality level gradually increases. How come the product quality level gradually increases? You are gradually, eliminating problems. All the possible defects, one by one, you are eliminating. As a result, quality level keeps on increasing. When you are really targeting a higher level of quality, you have to do more of prevention activity and more of appraisal activity. That means if you are expecting higher level of quality, then there will be more prevention and more appraisal activity. And this is the curve, which is called cost of, which represents the cost of good quality, right? High quality means higher cost of good quality. That is the reason why the curve is going upward. Hope all of you understand. Suppose if my quality levels are low, what will be your guess about the failure? When the quality levels of the products are low, probably there will be more failures, right? And so the failure cost will be very high when the quality level is low. When I keep on increasing the quality level, what am I doing? I am arresting the failures one by one. So the cost associated with the failure will gradually come down. So this curve actually represents the cost of poor quality. Why cost of poor quality happens? In spite of all your best efforts, sometimes a failure happens and non-conformance happens, right? And that is called as cost of failure. And cost of failure can be either internal failure or external failure. So what is internal failure? The failure happens in-house. The failure is detected by your own quality engineers. That is called internal failure. Suppose if the failure is detected outside the organization, or the failure is detected by a customer who is using your product, now the failure is called external failure. Whether it is internal or external, both are failure, and so the cost associated is always considered as cost of poor quality. When I combine the cost of good quality as well as the cost of poor quality, I get a new graph or a new curve, which is called total quality cost or total quality curve, right? And you look at the nature of total quality curve. Initially, it is high. If you keep on improving the quality level, what happens? The total quality cost gradually comes down. What is our understanding here? When any organization improves the quality, what will happen to the cost associated? Cost associated will gradually come down. If the cost associated gradually comes down, what will happen to the profit? Profit will get maximized. So, killing the failures, killing the defects, killing the cost of poor quality will help in maximizing your profit up to certain level. Up to certain level, that is this point. This is called acceptable quality level. If you still wanted to improve the quality, yes, you can improve, but look at the nature of the curve. The quality goes up, but at the expense of your profit. The effort you put in and the benefit you realize, the equation doesn't get balanced. You put more effort to achieve a meager improvement. So generally, organization will stop at the acceptable quality level, but it is very important for any company to reach at least this acceptable quality level, because it is the point at which your profit gets maximized. To understand that, let me draw the revenue graph. I am drawing the revenue graph over the quality cost graph, right? And now you see the distance between the revenue and the cost is getting maximized. This is the revenue curve, and is getting maximized exactly at the acceptable quality level. Below acceptable quality level, the profit is getting minimized. Above the acceptable quality level also, the profit is getting minimized. So our goal is to achieve the acceptable quality level, right? And but sometimes due to certain compulsion, maybe market conditions, our competitors really performing better than us, then you may be forced to go beyond acceptable quality level, right? So Hope all of you are able to understand. But you are again going to discuss about cost of poor quality as well as cost of good quality in the post lunch session. So this is an introduction kind of thing. So coming to the, yes, sir.
Sir, the cost of, let's say, appraisal is
Yes.
so considered into what? The good quality or the bad quality?
Cost of
Quality
appraisal
control
is,
teams that
yeah.
we,
cost of appraisal is generally considered as good quality only. But how do you conduct the appraisal? Are you conducting it in a preventive manner or are you conducting it in a corrective manner? If you do the appraisal in a corrective manner, then you must categorize that as poor quality.
okay.
For example, let's say a failure happened. You supplied a product to your customer and the entire lot comes back. Now you do an inspection. Now already the failure has happened. Though it is an appraisal, but it is too late. Right? So always the circumstance tells what is happening. Right? There is theoretical definition exists, but however, appraisal is generally good quality. Doing appraisal is good, but you must understand the circumstance correctly.
So one more
Yeah.
question, sir.
Yeah.
Is there a purpose for which you have actually declined the revenue after this AQR level?
No. The revenue is the trend of the company. That generally the curve will be it will be like a curve linear. So I'm just showing it. But
Okay.
if the curve is going continuously upward, then then your acceptable quality levels will be definitely much higher level. But I'm only showing an example.
Right. The point is that we need to identify where the profits are maximum.
Yes.
That will be accurate.
You need to improve the quality, improve the process till the maximum possible profit is achieved. Right?
So,
And attaining that is not that much easy. There will be always a scope for improvement. Yeah.
so,
Yes, madam.
so this prevention and appraisal costs. So can we apply this or customize it to any new product developments that the company would like to introduce in the market?
For example, yeah, you are trying to develop a new product.
Yes.
First of all, what should you do is you must understand your customer requirement. For example, tomorrow I want to start a new course, design thinking. I should know who are my targeted audience. I should know what are their requirement. I should know what my competitors are doing. I need to do at least 1% better than them. Then only people will come to me. So what is this activity I'm doing? I'm doing a survey for 6 months involving 300 people in the survey across the country. What is that I'm doing? Is it a prevention activity or an appraisal activity? Is it a failure activity? It's a prevention. Nothing has happened, but I'm studying about my customer's requirement. So that comes under prevention. That comes under prevention. I have launched the product. I do the same survey. To understand how good my product is. Now, what is that I'm doing? Now I'm doing prevention or appraisal? Now I'm doing appraisal, right? So definition is one side, but circumstance tells you what are you actually doing. Same activity classified as prevention and the same activity is now classified as appraisal, right? And I have launched the product and customers are highly dissatisfied. Now I'm studying why customers are dissatisfied, why the failure has happened. Now it is a failure. Now it is a failure. Now it is an external failure. Because customer has purchased your product and failures happen. For example, Ola scooter. The battery is simply burning. Now they are studying what went wrong. This is an external failure. They could have subjected the battery to all extreme conditions and could have studied everything. Then it could have been a prevention, isn't it? But now, since the prevention was not done, now the batteries are burning in the market. All the efforts put in by the company, the image is getting spoiled, right? So, hope I have answered. Am I right? Yeah.
This adds to cost of poor quality.
Yes, definitely. If you don't spend wisely, then what will happen is if you avoid spending in cost of good quality, you will lose heavily in cost of poor quality.
Poor quality and as I said, as RK sir said earlier, has a good effect also.
Exactly. Spend 1 rupee in prevention to save 10 rupee in appraisal. Spend 10 rupee in appraisal to save 100 rupee in failure. If you hesitate a lot to spend that 1 rupee, what will happen? Ultimately, you will lose 110 rupee. Right? For example, all of you are spending in the training program. Tell me, what is this cost? Is it a cost of prevention or cost of appraisal, or is it a cost of failure?
Cost of
Prevention,
appraisal.
cost of prevention, cost of prevention.
Cost of prevention. So this is cost of good quality. So what all of you are doing, please note, cost is not just the money, your time, your effort, the opportunity you are losing on the other side. By spending, 4 days with us, lot of opportunities you are losing on the other side. You might have met a customer and you might have done a business for 1 crore. Right? So you need to consider everything, correctly. And so anyway, what you are spending on this training program is a cost of good quality, because you are with a very good intention of driving any project towards success. And that's why you are taking up the formal training program. This is a cost of good quality. And we are going to conduct an examination to understand how good you are really in terms of implementing your learning. Have you become a green belt or have you become a black belt? So what is that we are doing? Appraisal, right?
Appraisal.
So
Appraisal.
And in the examination, if things goes well, then you get your certificate and everyone is happy, win-win. Suppose something goes wrong, right, for some reason, and a candidate is not able to clear the certification exam, in spite of all the best efforts, a failure happens. Now, what is this cost?
Cost of poor quality.
Cost
Failure
of poor
cost.
quality.
Poor
He
quality.
may have to spend again. Maybe he may have to even join a course again, or no, he has to put again the efforts, and definitely cost associated, cost of poor quality. And particularly, this is an external failure. Everybody comes to know that in spite of a formal training program, you are not able to get through. Right? That spoils your image. So cost of the external failure is always more, and the danger will be more than the internal failure. So that is why we have some preparatory exams, mock exam. All of you are going to write 4 mock exam before taking up the green belt examination or the black belt examination. In case you fail in the green belt, the mock exam, you will have a consultation with the Dr. RK. What went wrong? This question I answered wrongly. Why? Then what could be the correct answer? Then what is this? This is also a failure. We did an examination. There is a failure, but only you know that you are not up to the mark. And this is an internal failure. Right? So
It's more of a prevention.
Yes, it's more of a prevention, right? So we really have to understand the theory. At the same time, based on the circumstance, we need to use the theory. Otherwise, you will be too theoretical and then you will never be able to implement what you learned.
Can I put it this way? The mock
Yes.
exams are like an internal, and the green belt final exam is like an external.
Exactly. Internal failure and external failure. Very good. And I can also say the mock exam as appraisal. See, if we fail, then it is what happens. The actions, whatever we are doing, is internal failure. But what actually I'm doing is actually an appraisal activity. Appraisal is good. I have to spend some energy to equip all of you pass the examination. It's a cost of good quality. But in spite of that, if you fail, then it should be classified as cost of poor quality. But at least you are lucky enough that it is only internal failure.
Internal.
Still, you have some chance to project well in front of your customer. Hope it is clear, right?
Right.
So now coming to the cost of poor quality. Generally, or any organization, even your own organization, if you ask for yourself, you will be of the opinion that the cost of poor quality currently which your company is losing is about 4 to 5% of the sales. Maybe if I asked you, probably most of you will support me on the statement, right? 4 to 5% of the sales my company is currently losing because of the failures, right? But the fact is, they measure cost of poor quality only based on tangibility, only based on visibility. Whatever measurable, people measure. Whatever visible, that only people account it, right? And some examples of cost of poor quality are rejections, warranty claims, repair work that is happening, the reworks that are happening in the company, product recall, right? There are many companies you have seen product recall in RK's video also. The Toyota after selling several million cars, they recalled. Why? There is a poor design of the floor mat. The floor mat is creating an unnecessary, unintended acceleration of the vehicle and then leads to accident. So they recalled all the vehicles, corrected it. Now tell me, recall, is it an example of internal failure or external failure?
External failure.
The internal.
External failure, right?
External failure.
External failure.
Ford had the recall, Royal Enfield had the recall. In 2015, the Maggie was recalled. All of you
Yeah.
remember, right?
That was also external.
Near about 38,000
it's
tons
also
of Maggie packet that were there in the market were recalled. After recalling, they simply burnt it because it is unfit for consumption. So these are all poor quality, particularly external failure. Any rework, repair, you can classify them. I told you already. The circumstance tells whether it is internal failure or external failure. Rejection, if it is rejected by the customer, then it is external failure. If it is rejected by your own quality engineers, then it is internal failure, right? So something like that. But generally, even after including all these things, companies simply believe that 4 to 5% of the revenue, is lost due to poor quality. Now I am going to ask you a simple question. There is an iceberg I am showing in my slide. Is that iceberg visible to all of you?
No, only
No,
the
sir.
tip is visible.
Only
Very
the
good.
There is
Yeah,
under the
Avik
sea
goes
there is
deeper.
some
Yeah,
portion.
very good.
Yes, sir.
All of you said, yes, the iceberg is visible, but Avik who says, sir, only the tip of the iceberg is visible because he want to, he wanted to show because he is a green belt. Am I right, Avik? Yes. So as a green belt and black belt, people know, right? This is not the complete iceberg. Only the tip of the iceberg is visible. The major portion of the iceberg is actually hidden inside the water. Same is the situation in any organization. The failures, only visible failures people measure. Only measurable failures people measure. Then what about the immeasurable failures? Then what about the invisible failures? We should equip our people to really visualize all the invisible failures, to really measure all the immeasurable failures. So I'm going to now show you the full iceberg by uncovering the water. Now I have uncovered the water. Now tell me honestly, which portion of the iceberg is bigger? The visible portion or the invisible portion?
Invisible portion.
That will be the fact also, isn't it? Same way. Same way in your company also. If you equip your people, visualize all the failures. If you make your people measure all forms of failures, even the immeasurable failures, or now we are able to measure. We will now be able to realize the cost of poor quality is no more just 4 to 5%. We are actually burning 20 to 40% of the sales. So enormous opportunity exists for any company to maximize the profit just by reducing the cost of poor quality. Hope all of you agree with me. Focus on reducing the cost of the poor quality. You can even double your profit. Your profit margin currently may be 6 to 8%. It can definitely become 12 to 15% by focusing on reduction of cost of poor quality. Six Sigma is a defect reduction technique. Six Sigma is a defect reduction technique.
Defect reduction.
Because defect directly contributes to cost of poor quality. And now see here, there are several things I have written, and most of you may be familiar with all this terminology. You can take a minute to go through all these things and tell me, is there anything new to you? And I'll just clarify on that. One or two things you can ask, but anyway, as we progress, we will cover up all these things. Is there anything new to you? All are familiar? Fantastic then. And let me take something. Overproduction. What is overproduction? Producing more than the demand. When I produce more than the demand, is it a cost of poor quality? Obviously, isn't it?
Yes.
For
Because
example-
there will be stock. There will be stock in the in my warehouse, which is not sold.
Very good. For example, let us take, always let us keep the example very simple so that, we can fully understand and then apply it wherever required. Let's say the breakfast every day, in the family, the lady prepare the breakfast, right? And there are 4 members and idli is prepared. How many idli needs to be prepared? Probably, 15 to 20 idlis. That is, good for consumption by all. When 20 idlis are required, when we actually produce 40 or 50 idlis, what happened? The excess 20 or 30, it becomes a waste. So producing more than the demand, is also considered a wasteful activity. This is what, lean is going to teach you. So lean is all about waste elimination. Never overproduce. And overproduction is not only producing more than the demand. If you produce early, then also it is waste. For example, if I prepare the breakfast the previous day evening, how many of you will consume the idli? None of you will consume the idli, So the same thing, your customer deserves a fresh product. You want to buy a car. Will you buy a car which was manufactured 3 years before? Just, kept it in the storeroom? None of us. So customer wants a fresh output. So producing more than the demand, excess in quantity, or producing early, both are considered overproduction in lean. We must reduce overproduction. If possible, we must eliminate overproduction. This is called, just in time. Produce only to the required quantity, produce only at the required time. Otherwise, your capability is not world class.
Sir, this is also the pull production. This is
Full
also
production,
called
exactly,
full production.
exactly. Yeah. That means we want to convert our system from push to pull. Each and every small activity, any activity, for example, now we are delivering the course. How we are delivering? We are delivering in a push manner. We have designed everything and then we are dumping everything to you. But things will be absolutely fantastic if you ask one by one and then we deliver one after the other according to your demand. You will be much more comfortable, isn't it? So always pull is better than push. This is what should happen in your company also. There is a machine, let's say a lathe machine or a milling machine. The milling machine should run only if there is a requirement. That requirement should be felt by the milling machine. That requirement should be felt by the operator who is running the milling machine. If I'm not able to feel the requirement, I'll simply keep quiet. Create a system that is called pull system, right? So all that will be slowly mastering. So all these things, if you handle them wrongly, that will also constitute to poor quality. In most of the organization, they don't consider all these things as failure.
Taking more just in time and need based, sir.
Come again, sir. Just in time.
Just in time and need based.
Exactly. Just in time and need based. Yes, demand based. You should be demand driven. Yeah. See, many companies don't consider consuming a longer setup time is a waste. They take, several hours just to set up a machine. By setting a machine, what do you produce? You don't produce anything. You're not able to run the machine. Wherever, people take more than 10 minutes just for setting up a machine, that should be treated as, as good as waste. There is a scope exists to bring down the setup time to single minute. That technique is called single minute exchange of dice. For example, a formula race competition, we all could have seen. After certain laps, they have to change all the 4 tires. Can somebody tell me how much time do they take to change all the 4 tires?
Just
around
within
2 to 3 seconds.
Maximum
2 to 3 seconds, right? And
Yes, sir.
I've read somewhere that it is a magical 1.8 seconds. Right, just 1.8 seconds, they are able to change all the 4 tires. If they can do that, can you not reduce the setup to less than 10 minutes? This technique is called single minute exchange of dice. SMED doesn't mean do the setup in 1 minute. Do the setup in less than 10 minutes, right? So likewise, we really have to equip our people so that all the problems will now become visible to them. they will now be able to measure all the immeasurable, intangible failures. We are giving them an additional power, an additional eye to bring all the problem to the surface. Hope all of you understand, right? If you really don't equip your people on all these concepts, what happens? They think, they are already world class. They don't understand the opportunity, that exists for improvement. So if you don't understand all these things, these waste, these defects will gradually eat away all your profit. And there is also a compelling reason to understand all these things and improve upon. Otherwise, what will happen? Your competitor is already doing all these things. Then gradually they will grab all the market, and then there is no other option. You have to come back and then make a re-entry, right? So in order to avoid, we have to really make our people intelligent enough, effective enough to handle the problems and then resolve all the problem. And that's why, problem solving is an important skill.
The loss of opportunity will come as cost of poor quality, sir.
Lost, where it is written?
No, just asking like question, like loss of opportunity.
Yes. People are not able to understand, existence of an opportunity. That is purely because of, the lack of knowledge, isn't it? So we have to train our people on a timely manner, right? So loss of opportunity is also, a waste only. That is why, as I already mentioned, the circumstance, understanding the circumstance is important, and prioritizing the things is important. If you have addressed all the issues, and now we will start talking like this, we have not utilized that opportunity properly. So that is really a failure. We have to raise our organization to that level, isn't it? If we enjoy living with all the problem, then the scenario is completely different. We don't have to think about the future opportunities and other opportunities, because we are already facing a lot of problems. Let us handle. Our approach is more of corrective. We must change from corrective to preventive. We will think like this. If this process is operating like this, there is a chance of a failure to come next month. Now our approach is completely preventive, right? So this is what we are going to actually equip all of you to change from the corrective mindset to the preventive mindset. Done. And now all of you already had a session on quality. You learned the quality principle. I'm going to test it now. In your opinion, there are 4 cars I am showing. Tell me which car is a quality car.
All four.
All cars can be quality.
All cars.
Wow, fantastic.
Depending upon the specification
Very
the
good.
customer.
Very good. Because all of you are very clear that every product shown here has a separate customer segment.
Yes.
Has a separate customer segment, and every segment has a set of requirements. And majority of the requirements are delivered by the product. And so the products were already successful in the market. So the answer to my question is all the cars can be quality cars. If some of you feel like, BMW is the quality car out of the 4, then you have a confusion between quality and luxury.
Luxury.
Right? Which is a luxurious car? Yes, BMW, obviously. But when the question is quality, quality is always meeting customers' requirement. What is that your customer wants? Please provide that. That's all. Right?
Customer satisfaction.
Yes, customer satisfaction.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
sir, what is the difference between overproduction and overprocessing?
Overprocessing is going beyond the specification. For example, 1 hour session I am taking for 2 hours. That is now what I am doing is overprocessing. A session is scheduled for 1 hour. Specification is 1 hour. I must equip myself to cover the topic in 1 hour, which is a challenging job. RK is laughing, smiling at me because he knows I always overprocess. Right? So, for example, car painting, 2 layers of coating is required, but I am going for the 3rd layer. Then what is that I am doing? I am going beyond the spec, isn't it?
Yes.
Overprocessing. Customer is not going to pay you extra. So whether it is a surface finish or the car painting or your home painting, there are specifications. Stick to the specification. Do only what is required, right?
Okay, thank
You're
you.
able to understand the difference between overproduction and overprocessing?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Good.
Sir, can I come?
Yes, sir.
See, I want a gold necklace for my daughter. I am asking you to provide me. I'll pay you. But then I want only a 18 karat gold, and you give me the cost, and I make the payment. You are giving me a 22 karat gold necklace. This is called over processing or overproduction.
Over processing. Because
Very good.
your specification was 18 karat and now we provided you with 20.
I want only one gold chain, and then whereas you are giving me two gold chains for the same price I have given you. Then this is overproduction example or overprocessing example?
So both.
Oh, yeah, very good. Thank you.
And trust me, we are going to do a lot of overprocessing with all of you. I know what for you all joined here, but we are going to do a lot of overprocessing. Please, cooperate with us. Don't be bored of, delivering with the delivery of a lot of contents, right? It is required because education is different from other business, right? We wanted to go beyond your expectation. All right. So what is quality? Quality is meeting customer requirement. So quality comes from meeting customer expectation. This happens based on 4 activity. First activity, first of all, you must understand your customer requirement. You remember we started with your introduction, your requirement. This is the beginning point for any business, for any product, any service. How capable you are in capturing your customer's requirement. Capture your customer to the extent that it becomes measurable. Capture your customer requirement to the extent that it becomes measurable. How many tools you want to learn from this course? This is, I'm making everything, I'm trying to make everything measurable. We call it critical to quality. If we make the requirement measurable, it becomes critical to quality. A measurable metric, an actionable metric. So understanding customer requirement is the first point. If you are into product development, then you should be too good in this. You are going to master certain tools, Kano model, CTQ tree, Kano model, QFD, all those tools will make you do extremely well with respect to the first point. And number 2, customer requirements are captured in terms of certain number. And now you have to actually design a product, design a service, and then make a prototype and check whether the design can meet the requirements or not. Am I correct or not? All of you wanted to join a course. So we designed a course. Is this course really satisfying all of you? How the delivery is satisfying the customer? So it all depends on the quality of the design. The first thing is your ability to capture the customer requirement. Now your ability to design the product, design the service, and you can test the quality of the design with a prototype. And now the prototype is good. Is it enough? Can you immediately produce everything in the same way you produced prototype? Obviously no. Making a prototype and mass producing is completely different. You really have to now develop processes. For example, here, what is the process we developed in order to make all of you a green belt? We have the content delivered by the trainers, right? Teaching is a process. And then we have certain assessment. That is also a part of, that is also another process. And then all of you are putting your own effort. That is also a process, which we call it as learning. And then we do some assessment. Assessment is also a process. And then in order to bring all of you, there is a marketing, digital marketing. That is also a process. All these processes, when performed in a proper sequence at the required level of capability, will really help you achieve the desired level of quality. Even if you have best trainers in the end, some of the best trainers in the world are brought to the training program, but there are no participants. Will you achieve the desired level of quality? Obviously no, isn't it? So we have to really develop processes that are capable of producing the goods and services as per the design and as per the customer requirement. In any organization, let's say a manufacturing industry, machining is a process. Welding is joining and welding is a process. And packaging is a process. Billing is a process, isn't it? And delivery is a process. In my opinion, any organization can be considered as a collection of n number of processes. What is required is capable processes. What is a capable process? It never fails. It never fails. You just know, instead of trusting on people, trust on a capable process. Then your performance will definitely as per the expectation. So now processes are in place. You developed the process to the in a way that it is capable of producing defect-free output. It is capable of producing defect-free output. Today it is capable, but what will happen over time?
It will decline.
Any process will eventually deteriorate over time. When the other factors play, obviously, any performance will deteriorate. For example, all of you are going through the Six Sigma training program. Now your learnings are really good. You got to know several things. But when we all meet after 6 months, will you remember everything you learned? Maybe half of which, you will forget. The tendency is always, to deteriorate. The capability always goes down. That's why we have two types of capability, a short-term capability and another one is long-term capability. The long-term capability will be always lower than the short-term capability. So any organization requires people who can keep an eye on the capability and see to that the capability is same even in the long term. Then only know that the designed quality you will be able to deliver. Do you now require, why we require people at the managerial level? Particularly all of you who are attending the training program, your job is simply to make sure all the processes in your company operate at the desired level of capability. If it is already at the desired level, then you will control it. If it is not at the desired level, then you will improve it. That is primarily your job. You are given different designation, but ultimately what are you doing? You are responsible for maintaining the process, either in terms of consistency or in terms of capability. Am I good here?
Yes.
So these 4 activities, if your organization performs perfectly, be rest assured the outcome will be really world class. So process improvement is unavoidable in any organization. Process we already discussed, set of activities performed which will to convert the input into desired form of output under specified conditions, what we call it as process parameters, right? So the process has 2 characteristics. One is effectiveness, another one is efficiency. What is effectiveness? The ability of a process to meet the customer perceived requirement. All of you have joined the program, you have certain requirements in your mind. At the end of the course, you are fully satisfied. The training, can I call the training as an effective training program? Yes. So the effectiveness is, the effectiveness is the ability to meet the customer perceived requirement, right? So suppose if that is not happening, let's say 100 people join the program and when an examination is conducted, only half of them are able to pass. Your program is ineffective. 50-50 failure. Ineffective, highly ineffective. This kind of ineffectiveness is termed as defect. Hope all of you understand what is a defect, right? And let me put it in another example. Imagine you are going to a coffee shop. You are going to a coffee shop in the evening and you are ordering a coffee, right? And the coffee is served to you and you actually drink the coffee and you don't like the taste. And tell me, is that the coffee making process effective or ineffective?
Ineffective.
Every customer who comes and have a cup of coffee, they are highly dissatisfied. That means the process is ineffective. So the coffee had some defect. That's why you don't like. It may be the temperature of the coffee, or it may be the sugar level, or it may be the strongness of the coffee, or it may be the overall taste. I don't know, right? But any characteristics, which doesn't meet the customer's expected level, we call it as a defect, right? And rectify all the defect, your process will gradually become effective, and then which will ultimately satisfy your customer. Now coming on to the other side, process efficiency. What is efficiency? If just required resources are utilized to reach the desired level of effectiveness, the process is considered to be efficient. Same coffee shop, you are coming and ordering a coffee, and you are made to wait for 45 minutes just for a cup of coffee. But after 45 minutes, the coffee is too good. Now tell me, the coffee is served after 45 minutes. Now tell me, what is the kind of problem that is there in that coffee shop? Is it an effectiveness problem or an efficiency problem?
Efficiency. Effectiveness is there because they are providing a proper coffee or the taste which you are liking. But
what are you providing is effectiveness.
Yes.
How are you providing is efficiency.
Efficiency.
Right? We must provide the right thing and in the right way.
Right.
Then what happens? When you provide the right thing, customer will be happy. When you provide it in a right manner, business will also be happy. Isn't it? So,
Right.
inefficiency is termed as waste. Inefficiency is termed as waste, and ineffectiveness is termed as defect. The defect the defect reduction is taken care by Six Sigma. Six Sigma is a defect reduction approach, defect reduction technique. Lean is a waste elimination approach.
yes,
But ultimately, we don't want both, because defect itself is also a waste. Am I correct? Producing a defect is also a wasteful activity.
yes.
Taichi Ono, he classified 7 types of waste, in which one of the waste is defect. Right? So, for any organization, any product, any service, effectiveness can never be compromised, and efficiency must be optimized. Effectiveness can never be compromised, because revenue will become a problem. Nobody will buy your product. Efficiency must be optimized, because just generating revenue is not good. Because I have invested 100 crore, I will get back 100 crore. That's not a beauty. Invest 100 crore, you must be able to generate 120 crore. The 20 crore is your profit. Right? That profit is a result of your efficiency. Right? So effectiveness cannot be compromised and efficiency must be optimized. When you achieve both, your approach is called operational excellence. Everyone in the organization should know about all these things. Then only operational excellence can be driven in your organization. If people do not know what is process, what is quality, and what is effectiveness, what is efficiency, what is defect, and what is waste, do you think they will all of them will understand and then work in the way it is required? Very, very difficult, right? So operational excellence, becoming world class, is a monumental task, which means everyone in the organization should be involved. Everyone's role is important, because if everybody is working in a good way and one person can damage everything. So everyone's involvement is important, and most importantly, their commitment is much more important. So what's the difference between involvement and commitment? Can somebody explain? Involvement and commitment, both are important. Anybody would like to take this chance to differentiate involvement and commitment?
Involvement is being there. Commitment is being there, following whatever may come and reaching the desired goal.
Very good, very good. If you are there in the training program in all the 4 days or 6 days, you are involved. If you are there effectively, right? You are there on the video, right? You are interacting, you are answering all the questions, you are doing all the assignments which we are giving. Now you are really a committed participant, isn't it? So for operational excellence, you not only need to involve everyone in the organization, you also need committed people who will drive the entire organization, who will drive the other team members, and then they really become change agents. And such a committed set of people are the Six Sigma experts. Got it? You are going to be that committed person in your company, and you are going to be that change agent who knows the subject very clearly, so that you can educate others. Right? Again, one more example. Let us take mutton biryani. All of you know mutton biryani, right? Lunchtime.
Yes.
Yeah. What are all required to prepare a mutton biryani?
Is rice.
Ladies can answer. Yeah. Rice, you need
Rice,
biryani rice.
mutton, biryani
Mutton.
masalas, pot.
Spices, pot is required, right? Stove is required. You need a chef also.
Yes.
Yes. So see, so many things are to be involved just to prepare a biryani, mutton biryani for our lunch. Then imagine overall needs to be involved for organizational excellence. Do you understand? Just for a biryani, so many things are required. Then for organizational excellence, everyone in the organization should be involved. Everyone should be trained to certain level. That is why we have different belt level. Not only straight away green and black. We have yellow, we have white, isn't it? Because everyone has got a role. Everyone is going to be involved. If I don't put certain spices, my biryani cannot be a biryani, isn't it? Right. So you understood about involvement. And now there are so many things. Now, out of the so many things, which one do you think, is really committed for the biryani example? Is it the spices, or is it the rice, or is it the chef, or is it the mutton?
Yes.
Chef, sir.
What is that committed here?
Chef.
Chef.
Oh, really the chef?
All the
Chef, just cooked the meal. But why don't you think about the goat? It gave its life, isn't it, for your biryani?
rice also required. All the
Yeah.
materials required.
Yeah, of course. If the chef is also committed, really good. But chef gave his time, gave his effort, but the goat gave its life. So that's, I think you get the point, right? So we need everybody to be involved. At the same time, we also need a set of committed people who can drive everyone towards the goal, organizational goal. Driving everybody towards a goal is very easy. When I say somebody, your salary will be doubled. If you do this, yes, I'm driving him towards a goal. But what is important is I should also see to that I drive them towards organization's goal. For that, I just have to align the goal. I have to connect his promotion, connect his salary hike with the attainment of organization goal. Then what happens? People will also succeed, organization will also succeed. This is called goal alignment. Companies who understand all these things, they will connect the certification and the promotion and salary hike. You can go up the ladder only when you become a green belt. You may be a doctorate. You may be a postgraduate. You may have 30 plus years of experience, but still you don't know how to solve a problem. But still you don't know how to take a decision. But still you are not a green belt. Then you will not go up in the career ladder. This is what Motorola has done. They connected the certification with the career progress, right? And this process has to be very stringent. Just like that, if you give a certificate, then there is no meaning. That is what we are also believing, right? We are not going to give you the certificate just like that. We are going to see to that your skin color changes from the current color to green to get the green belt certificate, and current color to black to get the black belt certificate, right? So effectiveness should never be compromised and efficiency must be optimized. All right. So moving on. There are two options. If you want to improve the results in your company, and tell me honestly, will you focus on improving the results or improving the process now after having discussed all these things?
Improving the processes.
Improving results.
Improving the process, you will succeed in a long term. You will succeed in a long term if you focus on process improvement. If you talk too much on the result, you will succeed only in short term, and then you will eventually fail in long term. Right? If you talk about results, it simply means you are people-centric. Your organization is people-centric. If you talk about process, your organization is process-centric. Only process-centric organizations can survive in the competition, right? So your organization is like this orange tree. It is really capable of producing oranges, but suddenly the situation demands apple. Can you produce apple from the same tree?
No.
Impossible. If you want to change the fruits, it is compulsory that you change the roots. Otherwise, the same tree cannot give you apple. Same way, if you want to change the results, you must change the process. Without understanding this logic, If you put a lot of effort and energy in improving the result, your results are never going to improve, right? And this is what Six Sigma call it as process-centric approach. This is what is mathematically written as y is equal to f of x, where what is your y? Y is your result. You want to improve your y. If you want to improve your y, you have to improve several things, isn't it? And y is the problem you want to solve. Y is the pain metric which your organization want to solve. And y is mathematically called a dependent variable, which means the y variable depends on several other x factors. For example, the taste of the coffee. Taste of the coffee is an example of a y variable because it depends on the amount of sugar added. It depends on the amount of coffee powder added. It depends on the ml of milk you have added. It depends on the temperature. It depends on the type of stirring you have done. It depends on the type of glass in which you serve the coffee. All those things, all are x factor. Without touching the x, you can't touch the y. If you say you can touch the y directly, then this is not a candidate for Six Sigma project. You can solve it effortlessly. And an expert is required to solve a problem only if the problem is associated with a y variable, not with the x variable. X variables are now called as the causes. Y variable are the problems or the pain metric. If the causes are already known, why do you run a project? Why can't you fix it? That's a cultural problem, right? A Six Sigma expert is required only to solve a problem associated with the y variable, and even for it, the root cause should not be known. Root cause should not be known and solution should not exist, and the problem should be recurring in nature. Then only it becomes a candidate for a Six Sigma project. Otherwise, it is a mere project management. If the project is associated with the x variable, the project is a mere project management. That's all. You know everything. Just execute it. But a Six Sigma expert is required only to solve problem associated with a y variable, which is mathematically a dependent variable, which is recurring in nature, and the root cause is unknown. Solutions are also unknown. Hope all of you understand, which becomes a Six Sigma project. Am I right?
In other words, X becomes an external factor, sir.
X can be external factor or internal factor, but X is an independent factor.
Okay.
Independent factor means you can change the way you want directly. Directly, you can change the way you want. If you can directly change the way you want, then it is independent factor, independent variable. But if you can change a variable, but not directly, indirectly. For example, your examination mark, your green belt or black belt exam mark, will you be able to change it directly?
No.
You have to attend the
You
session
have to
for
score.
some number of hours. You have to
Has to be done
understand.
directly.
You have to do some assignments. There are many things you need to do. Several X factors exist, right? And so your exam score is a Y variable, right? So similarly, the strength of a material. Imagine I am manufacturing a concrete block. The compressive strength of the concrete block. Tell me, is it a Y variable or X variable?
Why?
Why?
Yeah, if there is a necessity to improve the compressive strength and people don't know how to do it, then it's a candidate for Six Sigma project, right? So hope all of you understand the process improvement approach. And this is called, maturity level in the organization, organizational maturity. A child, when actually, when a child borns, the child doesn't know anything. But as the child grows, it becomes matured and matured. And one day he becomes super effective and super efficient and he becomes a Superman. Same way your organization should also become super effective and super efficient. This is what we call it, the revolution. Industrial revolution 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0. What is 4.0? What is 4.0?
IoT.
IoT. That means you want everything to be internet based. You want everything to be mobile based.
Right.
You want everything to be digitized. Automation and digitization is what is called as Industry 4.0. But when will you automate? For example, we have been, conducting the training program, but continuously talking for about 2 hours. Why are we not automating?
Because there are few things where manual intervention
Because
is
we are still
necessary.
not to the required level of effectiveness. We still feel like, human involvement is required. If we could figure out everything and make it precise, crystal clear and super effective and super efficient, then our videos can speak better than we coming directly. Am I right?
Right.
So before automation, process should be super effective. You should know your process should operate at 100% capacity. 100 success rate of the process should be 100%. If a video is played for 10 minutes, yes, the work is done. So that is called industry 3.0. What is the readiness for 4.0 is 3.0. Your processes in your current organization should be super effective, should be super efficient. Now think about automation. Automate it. If processes are not super effective, for example, 90% effective. What do I mean by 90% effective? When I produce 100 units, 90 units will be accepted, 10 units will be rejected. Will you automate that such process? No. Imagine the banking transaction or nowadays automated. None of us go to the bank. Every day millions of transactions happens. Almost all the transactions are successful. And that is called automation and digitization. So long back, people thought quality is quality is purely the function of the skill of the employee. Look at the difference between the artisan era of believing that skill is quality, and come look at the 4.0. Where is the skill now?
Industry.
Where is the employee now? Everything is automated, everything is digitized. But what is the level of quality you are feeling on the left side and you are feeling on the right side? If you also seriously want your company to come to the right extreme, then organization learning should happen. Organization maturity level should change from believing that skill alone is responsible for the quality to process capability, which is 3.0. Right? So this is how the transformation happened. From the skill of the employee, industry started thinking about standardization. What is standardization? Whether I am doing the job or you are doing the job or someone else is doing the job, the result is same. That's called standardization. Whether I use machine X or machine Y or machine Z, whether I produce at plant A or plant B or plant C, whether I use supplier A or supplier B or supplier C, my product quality is always same, isn't it? This is called, just a minute.
What happened?
We need to really change from the artisan era to the automation and digitization. So first transformation is standardization. This is why you need to standardize all the activities which are happening in your company. You now understand why we create SOP, why we try to standardize everything, right? And then only you can move from 1.0 to 2.0. What is 1.0 to 2.0? I have standardized. I know about the output, but still I am doubtful. Still I am doubtful. I have standardized, but still I am doubtful. For example, I conduct the training program. People attend the training program. Still I am doubtful whether you are a green belt or a black belt. I keep an examination. That means I'm not sure about the capability. Though I have standardized, I'm not sure about the capability. I wanted to measure my outputs before sending it to the customer. Companies started doing that literally. They started measuring several things, several characteristics in the product, which are called the CTQ, critical to quality characteristics. If I don't check, my customer will check. If I don't check, customer will check those characteristics. So what I do is I will check it in-house. That is called the quality control. Organization started having a separate department for quality. That is called industry 2.0. If your company has got a quality control department, that means you have already crossed these phases. The maturity level is 2.0. But one of you tell me, what are we doing by having a quality control department? What are we doing by having a quality control department?
They're segregating bad from the good.
We are segregating
Preventing
good
it
and
from
bad.
going to
Yeah,
the customer.
fantastic answer. We are only containing a problem. Problem containment is what quality control is doing. But what is required? Problems must be solved. Right? Detecting failure is quality control, but preventing failure is important, is required for the company. So moving from detection to prevention is industry 3.0. Moving from detection, right? Detection to prevention. Good and bad, I'm segregating. I'm also seeing to that bad doesn't come from a process. And that era is called industry 3.0.
Can
And
we
that
come
is
in
the
as
yes,
quality
sir.
control and quality assurance, sir?
Yes, quality assurance. Quality assurance comes here. Again, the 3.0, isn't it? That's a kind of, making sure you don't really produce the defective items.
Defective items. Okay.
You have certain ISO and all these, certifications. That's a kind of 3.0 side. But particularly, the issue solving quality problem, these approaches like Lean and Six Sigma handles very well than the other approaches, because other approaches are mostly system based. But here the approach is process based. We go to the finer details and then fix the root of the problem. If we simply create a system, still the entire system can fail if you don't get into the finer details, right? So this 3.0, which is the revolutionary period where the Lean got introduced from Japan and Six Sigma got introduced from US. The company behind Lean is Toyota, and the company behind Six Sigma is Motorola, right? And the person or the people behind Lean is one called Sakichi Toyota, another person called Taichi Ono, one more person called Shigeo Shingo. These are Japanese names. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing correctly or not, but these are the names, right? Toyota, Ono, and then Shingo, right? All these three people worked as a team and they created a system for their own company. They called it as Toyota Production System. And maybe 3 years, 5 years down the line, all of you should be able to create a system for your own company, right? So by using all the philosophies you are learning here. So the Toyota Production System really, produced magical results for Japan. The same thing gave the capacity for the company to perform better than the American companies. At some point of time, the Japanese product started dominating in the market. Even today, it is true. For example, the best air conditioner is most probably from the Japan, isn't it? So something like that. The Japanese, they learned. In fact, they learned everything from US. Similarly, all of you, if learn things from us and then perform better than us, we will be extremely happy. This is what Toyota did. They learned it from America. They learned it from Ford. Ford is a US-based company. They learned the best practices from Ford and then customized it to suit Toyota. And they named it as Toyota Production System. Since it worked very well and every company wanted to adopt it. So the quality stalwarts across the globe, they studied what Toyota was doing and then made them available to all the other companies with the new brand name called Lean. So it is fundamentally the Toyota Production System that is renamed as Lean. We all must acknowledge and thank Toyota for giving such a wonderful approach for problem solving through elimination of waste. And seeing the tough competition given by the Japanese company, particularly Toyota and others, the Americans started realizing that their quality is stinking in front of the global market. They wanted to embark on a new approach, and so that gave birth to Six Sigma, a revolutionary concept called Six Sigma from Motorola. And the people behind the Six Sigma is Bob Galvin, Bill Smith, and Michael Harry. Bob Galvin is the CEO of the company, who actually insisted for such improvement, because without the support of the top management and coming out with such new approaches is very, very difficult. So Bob Galvin nicely supported the initiative and Bill Smith and Michael Harry together, they produced the Six Sigma approach and the methodology. And today we call Bill Smith as father of Six Sigma. And since he left so early, and later on Michael Harry, he popularized the Six Sigma. He popularized the Six Sigma, and then in fact Motorola created its own university because they had several lakhs of employees, and they thought and realized that all the several thousand and several lakhs of the employees must be trained on Six Sigma body of knowledge and Six Sigma methodology. So they created their own university and started certifying the employees and connected the career progress with the Six Sigma certification. And that again produced fantastic results. And again, seeing the success of the Motorola, all the other companies started adopting Six Sigma. This is how the Six Sigma got spread. And nowadays, 2000 onwards, Lean and Six Sigma got integrated, because the focus of Six Sigma is defect reduction. Focus of Lean is waste elimination. Both are important to any business. So a new approach has born, which is called Lean Six Sigma. This is how the revolution. Now you can understand where are you standing with respect to this revolutionary scale, right? So standardization to quality control to problem solving through TPS, Lean and Six Sigma, or any other approach like 8D or whatever it is. And then finally Industry 4.0, one of you said IoT, artificial intelligence, and then the machine learning kind of things. All right. So this is the timeline. 1926, Sakichi Toyoto. He founded this company, Toyota Automotive Loom Works. And then 1950, he traveled to Ford, 3 months visit, and then benchmarked the best practices, came back and modified. And he structured an approach called Toyota Production System. And along with the Toyota, Taichi Ono, and then Shigeo Shingo. And their idea is, right sizing the resources and making the resources self-monitoring. I told you, if you monitor yourself by keeping yourself on video, what happened? Your learning will be fantastic, isn't it? Same way. Can you make every machine and every department, self-monitor? Imagine your car, which is talking to you about, its health. So you don't have to worry about the health of the car. The car is worrying about its health on its own, and then it is talking to you. So this is what the foundation idea for the Toyota Production System, and the outcome is they are able to produce faster, at the same time lower in cost, at the same time higher in quality, and most importantly higher in variety. Right? Because the Japan market was small compared to the US and other things, so they wanted to have flexibility in manufacturing. So since the TPS garnered global attention and was therefore studied by management gurus, and then they recoined it as Lean, right? And these are the stalwarts. You can see Toyota, Taichi Ono, and then Shigeo Shingo. And Toyota, the Toyota, in all the decisions in Toyota were based on these 4 principles. If you also understand the 4 principles and make your management and make your managers and everyone follow the 4 principles, and definitely you will become super effective and super efficient. The first one, philosophy is the foundation. And what is the philosophy? Create value for people. For example, we are conducting this program just for the sake of certifying all of you, or just for the sake of making business for our company? No, we really wanted to create value for people, isn't it? We wanted to see you, each one of you as the real green belts and black belts. Anything you are doing, see to that you create value. If you are not able to create value from the customer's viewpoint, better don't do it. This is the philosophy or the principle at Toyota Production System. And number 2, the belief is right process will always produce right result. This is what we also discussed. Right process will produce right result. The wrong process will obviously give a wrong result, right? This is principle number 2. Principle number 3, develop your people and partners. Who are people? Your employees. So you must develop them. your vendors, your suppliers, right? All of them are responsible for the end result, isn't it? So develop the people and they will develop your company. That is the third principle. And fourth principle, that this is why we are here today in the program. Systematic problem solving and organization learning. What is systematic problem solving? Solve the problem at the root level. If you are not able to attack the root, it simply means you are attacking the symptom. If you attack the symptom, you might think that you have solved the problem, but the same problem will come again. If the same problem comes every month and comes every year, then what about the new problems? You will not even be able to handle the problem. So many will be there. So whenever you are solving a problem, see to that you are solving the problem at the root level. Whatever methodology you follow, whether it is a simple cause and effect method you are following, or you are following 80, or you are following any methodology, ultimately your goal should be to attack the root of the problem, so that the problem once solved will never come again. By solving every problem, people will get a new knowledge. By solving every problem, people will get a new knowledge, and that knowledge should be fed back into the organization by standardizing the process again. This is called organization learning. If you solve a problem and then don't standardize the connected process, what will happen? Again, the process will fail. That is why we have the last phase, which is called control. Control will make sure organization learning happens. Control will make sure the same problem doesn't happen again. So these are the 4 foundation principles. All the decisions taken in Toyota are based on these 4 principles. If one of the principle is violated, probably they will not take that decision, right? They will not handle, take up that project. This later become lean and now successfully adopted by all the company. And look at the house of Toyota production system, nothing but the lean. What is there in the foundation? Can somebody tell me? Philosophy is the foundation, right? Philosophy is the foundation, the 4 principles you must remember. And again, over the foundation, there is one more foundation structure. Kaizen, all of you know Kaizen, right? What it means? It's a Japanese term which means small, continuous improvement. Small, continuous improvement. And stable and standardized process. We spoke about standardization. We also spoke about stability. Doctor will never operate a patient, if the patient body condition is not stable. Am I correct? If your BP levels are not stable, sugar levels are not stable, even the best operational procedure cannot help you survive, isn't it? So processes must operate at a stable condition. Then only you must think about improvement. So these are the foundations. And Heijunka, what is Heijunka? Leveling. What is leveling? When I have whether it is benefit or a loss or a risk, it should be always divided equally. It should be always divided equally. For example, a workload. You have 10 employees. You will see best result when you divide the workload equally. Am I right? You have 10 machines. You are getting an order from the customer. If you divide that order equally to all the 10 machines, you will be at your best in terms of the performance. Instead of that, if you load everything onto the first machine and keep the remaining 9 machines idle, what will happen? The first machine will get will go out of order very soon, because you have been overloading it, right? And the 9 machines, since because you don't use them frequently, that will also go out of order, isn't it? So always we must think of leveling the load, right? You have 3 plants, always produce using all the 3 plants. You have 100 machines, produce using all 100 machines. Another advantage is you will produce faster. You will produce faster, right? So these are some foundation principles. And look at the center. You need committed people who are good in working as a team, right? And then waste reduction is our focus. And you have 2 pillars. One pillar called just in time, other pillar called Jidoka. Just in time means pull based. What is pull based? I am right sizing. What is right sizing? Only when there is a need. I will.
Tool based means we will start the production only after the customer is required that demand it.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
tools basis we will first produce and then we will
Exactly.
get it
So
into
the left side just-in-time pillar is right sizing, and right side pillar is self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is called Jidoka. For example, your organization has lot of lines drawn on the floor, yellow color lines. Am I right? When somebody comes, you are clearly telling them this is the pathway, walking path. This is, and this area people are not allowed to enter, and certain areas are painted in red color. Why? Because that's a dangerous zone. So visual control. So that is called Jidoka. That is called self-monitoring. Self-monitoring will prevent failure, right? So certain tools and approaches are developed under the pillar just in time. Certain tools and approaches developed under Jidoka, and as a result, look at the roof of the house. Highest quality, lowest cost, shortest lead time. That means you are able to produce faster. Lean will speed up your business processes. If you speed up the business process, the number of business cycles over a period will increase, which means your revenue will increase, isn't it? And empowered employees, best safety is ensured, high morale is ensured. This is called TPS, Toyota Production System. So lean is all about elimination of waste. What is a waste? Any activity you do which your customer is not able to appreciate is a waste. For example, I am talking beyond 1 o'clock. If all of you don't like me talking, then what I am doing is a waste, isn't it? Always you must look from the customer's perspective. Any process will have activities, and activities can be either be value adding or non-value adding. What is value adding? It satisfies your customer. What is non-value adding? It either dissatisfies the customer or doesn't impact the satisfaction. If it dissatisfies the customer or doesn't impact the customer satisfaction, both are considered waste. Both non-value adding activities are otherwise called as waste. Your goal should be eliminating them. Your goal should be eliminating them. If elimination is not possible, you should at least reduce them. If elimination is not possible, you should at least reduce them, right? And a process as it is condition I am showing. You are seeing a car running in a heavy traffic. Actually, the car is not running. The person who is driving the car is struggling a lot. This is what can happen if you don't make your business process a lean one. Lean means a simple. Simplify the process. So in my opinion, simplification is the meaning of lean. What is simplification? Don't do unnecessary things. Do only what is required. Right? Imagine I bring the same car and the same driver to an environment like this. Now the car can run faster. Now the car can give a better mileage. The person who is driving the car, he can enjoy the job. All these things will become possible in your work environment also. All that you need to do is simplify the work before assigning the work to the people. What is simplification? Classify the work into activities, minor level. Classify the activities to value adding and non-value adding. And non-value adding, there are 10 items. Whatever you can eliminate, eliminate. Few items you can't eliminate, reduce them. And now the resulting process is a lean process, right? So we need to make the right choice. So there are several tools lean is offering, which you need to master, which will, all of them will improve your efficiency. So these 4 guiding principles, I have already told you. And would you like to answer this question? What are the 2 pillars you have seen on Toyota production system? What is that?
and Jidoka.
Just in time and Jidoka.
Very good. Just in time and Jidoka. What is Jidoka? What is
Jidoka
Jidoka?
is self-monitoring.
Self-monitoring.
Just in time,
Just in
Right
time is
sizing.
producing the right good at the right time.
right sizing. A single statement is right sizing. Yes. Very good. So a few more questions. Excessive movement of people. Can it be called as transportation waste or motion waste or over processing?
Motion waste.
Over processing.
Motion waste.
Motion waste.
Motion waste is the better option. longer setup time. Is it an example of good quality or poor quality?
Poor quality.
Poor quality.
Okay, so I will stop here for your lunch. Probably in the next session, I will continue with this, right? What I am just going to tell you is, I'll feed you with some more fundamentals and basics. I believe all of you like the basics, right? The basics and foundation, because if the basics and foundation properly understood, you can understand even the tough modules, right? So only one thing I will show before stopping now, so that no afternoon you can go ahead with. So this is the methodology which Six Sigma is following: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And as RK sir said, every step, every define has 3 steps, measure has 3 steps, analyze has 3 steps, improve has 3 steps, and control has 3 steps. Totally 15 steps. This is what we are going to train you step by step. An afternoon post lunch, and another trainer is going to talk to you about the step number 1. What is step number 1? How to identify problem. Identifying the project, right? And then we'll go up to the solution and then documenting the solution. And these are all the tools, several tools. And some of them are required at the green belt level, and some of them are required at the black belt level. And of course, there is no end for learning. So we will gradually, equip you on that. So I stop here.